Being your own boss and living your life on your own terms comes at a cost. Not money, because that's what we aim to get. Not skills, because there's plenty of electricians out there that are working for a boss. And it's not time either, because there's plenty of electricians out there that have hobbies and busy families, and they're still able to run their own business. So what is it that electricians have that make them able to run their own business and basically upskill and make their business bigger and better? Well, that's what we're about to find out. Toolbox Talks for Electricians, helping electricians reduce stress, gain back time, and earn more money. Welcome back to the Toolbox Talks for Electricians podcast. My name is Ben Poulter, your host, and I've been running my own business now for around 20 years or more. And I always remember how long it's been since running my own business, because I started it up around about the time my daughter was born, and she's 20 years old now. And becoming a dad was one of the reasons why I did decide to start up on my own, because you see plenty of people running their own business, and I thought, yeah, maybe I could do this too. Because some of the people that you do work for over time as an electrician or any trade, you sort of work for that boss and you think, man, I could do this. That guy's a freaking idiot. And that thought, it seems to sit in your head for a little while. You might think, right, yeah, I could run my own business. That's easy. Like I could do that. I could make a go of it at least and try. And that thought, yeah, it sits in your head for a couple of years, because you get busy and life goes on and you sort of forget about it. And then it comes to a point where you're forced. Work dries up for the company you're working for and it goes under. So you think, yeah, I'm going to start up on my own. And then you're sort of forced to. And I would say that when you're forced to start up on your own, when you've got no other option, say, right, I've got to get some work, so I'm going to start up on my own, that's one of the worst positions to be in. You don't want to be forced to be able to start up on your own. You want to sort of make a plan. But I'm not saying if you're in a position where you're forced, it can't be done. Because, like I always say, anything is possible. And I think you do well to have that attitude as well when starting up on your own. Because, yeah, things get hard. Anything is possible, but unfortunately, it does take a lot of hard work. However easy things sound on sort of in paper or in your mind, like, yeah, this could be easy, I could do this. Things take time to learn. And a new skill, it takes time to develop. So the only way you're going to learn that skill is jump in and give it a go. And something that sticks with me all the time, and always remember this, is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. It's always good to make an idea of where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. And I sort of live my life by this a little bit at the moment. If I want something, maybe a new bike or something to treat myself to, I'll put a little bit of money aside each week to think, right, that's my pot for that new Indian Scout motorbike. And eventually this will make you sort of get up in the morning. It'll make you motivated to think, yep, I've got to go do that job, because I'm taking a percentage, 10% maybe, out of that job to put in my motorbike fund. You're not really fussed about getting the work done. And yeah, okay, you've got to pay your mortgage and stuff as well. But that's what something everybody's got to do. If you've got more of an incentive to get up, go to work and earn that money, yeah, that's what makes me get up a lot more every day. But it doesn't have to be like a toy or something like that. It can be simple as paying off your credit card. How good would it feel to have a zero balance on your credit card? So if you've got a plan to pay off that credit card, or even if you've got a holiday booked and you think, right, at the end of this, all this hard work, I'm going to treat myself to a holiday. That's what sort of thing makes you more enthusiastic to go to work and get the job done. Because that way, when you're sitting there down in the dumps, covered in rubbish or dust where you've been chasing all day at work, you sit in the van at lunch and you maybe Google Mexico and think, what are things to do in Mexico? Because then you'll look at that and think, that's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm doing this for. That's what I'm here till late at night getting this job done. Because I'm going to be sitting on a beach sooner or later. And the kind of people that start their own business are basically risk takers. You must have heard the term, more risk, more reward. And that is so true in many aspects of life. I spoke to a number of electricians that I asked them as well, and I say, well, how did you start up your business? And they'll say, back in the 60s, we took out a £5,000 loan, which was the same price as our house, and we put it down on a business. We got new vans, we got like an office and a stores, and started up a business, and that's how it thrives from there. And basically, sometimes they say, yeah, we didn't get much time at home with the kids. The missus the missus raised the kids, was there at work being the breadwinner. And that's a lot of an old sort of stature as how it used to be back in the day. I think these days there's a a lot easier as well, because, well, in some aspects it's a lot easier because obviously both parties, your wife and yourself, go out and earn an income. Especially when your children get a little bit older, they can look after themselves, or they can make cheese on toast or a cup of tea and stuff, and they make their own breakfast because they just sit in their room playing on the Xbox anyway. And a lot of the older guys that maybe started a business years ago, they say that there was no option but to succeed, because if they got a loan out and they couldn't pay it, the house would get took off them because they got a loan against their house, the missus would kick their ass. So that was their incentive to succeed. However, I think these days things are a little bit different. I have never had sort of a premises or an office or a stores. I've just got a container where I keep my kit in, and you don't have to have that basically physical location to be able to start a business. You can simply do it by just a one-man band. But obviously you can decide to say, right, I'm going to expand, I'm going to get an office. If you get busier, then yeah, you probably want to get an office because you don't want to be sitting on the computer at night at home all the time. So you want to get an office, get some premises, get some stores, and then you'll grow your business basically to have more vans and more electricians doing work for you. I think a business that grows super fast and super big overnight, yeah, that doesn't always stay a success. I know too many people that have been offered a big contract with this big company saying, yeah, we're going to give you 10 years worth of work. So they go out, get a loan, get 6 vans, 6 lads, get an office, a premises, a stores, and they go all out straight away. A few years later, that big company, it goes under. And yes, then times were great at the time, with a few years sort of thing. Yeah, it was great at the time. But when that contract goes, things get a bit tighter. However fantastic it's been for the while that company was giving you work, yeah, it sort of all just changes. And it changes really fast. I think this scenario, it has happened to a lot of businesses. And there's a term for that. It's called having all your eggs in one basket. And the thing is, it can happen so easy, because if it's a big company you look up to and think, yeah, there's plenty of work here, the maintenance contract, and things like that as well, it's great. You get all excited and think, yeah, I'm going to be rich beyond my wildest dreams and this is going to last forever. Unfortunately, I can tell you now, nothing lasts forever. And if that director wants you to do work for them and wants you to bend over backwards and drop what you're doing on any other job to do their job, they'll tell you exactly what you want to hear and pay you basically whatever you want to be able to do that for them, to be able to treat you like that, to be able to pick you up at a drop of a hat, to be able to do the work for them, especially on a call out. Because years ago, this happened to me. I was doing work for a big company, and because I was in there and they trusted me and I was good friends with the director, that I used to get groundworks in, I used to get plumbers in, I used to get all sort of painter and decorators in, and they'd all go through me. And yeah, we were earning a good amount of money. And the thing is, times were so good that director, he got quite a lot of work done in his house for basically nothing. But I turned up one day to do a nice, easy job. It was the emergency lights maintenance. Basically, all you do is switch them off, stand around for a little while, make sure they come on, and if not, you get paid double to replace a few. And that happened all the time as well. Every time we went to do the maintenance contract, there was always a new light to change, so we'd stock up in the van with a load of bulkheads, or maybe them twin spots. We'd have a few of them in the van and just charge double to replace the ones that were faulty. But the building was under new management. That director weren't there anymore. We had to tender for the work. And that was just an excuse to say, look, you're out, mate. A new director in, new electrician. I never did another job for that company after that director took over. And this is what I say as well. It's a thing of old school maybe. It's who you know, not necessarily what you know. The new guy that came in, he was obviously out there to impress. So when he could basically get the electrician for, I don't know, £200-300 cheaper than myself, it was team points. That was it. He was doing his job and he was saving the company money. So that was it. That contract was out. I think this is a bit of a tough lesson to learn running your own business, because every customer is your best friend. Why is you doing work for them? They're fantastic. They will do anything they want. They'll make you a bacon sandwich. They'll take you out to lunch. They'll take you out to dinner. They'll buy your children Easter eggs. But would they pull over in the pouring rain if you were broke down on the side of the road? Many of them no. And I do believe that it's something that a lot of tradesmen, they sort of suffer with, to be able to separate friends and customers. End of the day, if you're in business, you got customers. Your friends, They're the ones that will probably help you move house for nothing, for a pizza or a Domino's pizza maybe. But I'm not saying that all customers, they can't be friends. I have made so many friends through being an electrician. And these are the type of guys and girls as well that you can drop in for a cup of tea. I'm in your area, let's drop in for a cup of tea, say hello. And you can guarantee, though, there's an electrical problem. This socket's loose, Ben. Can you sort this out? Or, actually, while you're here, I wanted to put power in my shed. So, yeah, you're more likely to get a job out of it because they'll forget until they see your face and think, oh, yeah, I've got an electrical issue I want you to deal with. But then they'll also say, send me the invoice. Won't ask for a quote. They'll just say, get the job done, send me the invoice. And that's the sort of customers that do become friends. But when you're employed as an electrician and you're on site and you're getting the job done, you don't really mind about how long it takes you because you know for a fact you get paid for the hours that you turn up. You're going to turn up there, you're going to get a certain amount an hour, whether it takes you 1 day or 2 days. You're not really fussed about it. But if you are basically the boss and you're the employer of the electricians, then you know how long you got on that job. And that's sort of in the back of your mind saying, right, got to get this job done at this amount of time. And, well, otherwise I don't make any profit. And I bet you feel like sometimes when you're on a job, it's a bit like a timer. Right, you're on this job, you've got 2 days to get this done. Am I going to get it done? So you're on a bit of a time because you know for a fact if this job takes longer than 2 days, it's going to throw your whole week out of sync. You're going to be late for the next job to start the next job. And I don't know, these things happen sometimes. And it pushes you on with a little bit of stress. And you think, got to get this done. And it makes you rush a little bit. You make mistakes. It escalates into something that it shouldn't. So if you think a job is going to take maybe a day, stick it a day and a half. Because you've got that contingency maybe to leave at either side. And at the end of the day, a quote is exactly what it is, a quote or an estimate. You're saying, right, it's going to cost you £1,000 to get this job done. But what if you get it done in a little less time? Then, yeah, you can basically take a bit of money off that quote and say, there we go, it was $999. But no, you can say it's maybe £800 or something like that. But if you're happy to do that and it costs you less, if you're honest to say, look, I weren't there 2 days, I put 2 days in for it. So I weren't there 2 days, I could move on to another job. So you can be honest with the customer, and I think that's what keeps me in work. Because when you're under pressure on a job, it's a bit of a sink or swim scenario. And I think being the boss, yeah, this will happen quite a lot. You get home and there's a few invoices from wholesalers you've got to do. You're getting calls all the time from other tradesmen, builders saying, right, we're ready for the electrics, get in, because we've got the plasterer booked in next week. And it's pressure from all over. You've got to be able to handle that, I think, running your own business. All you need to do is remember, it's all part and parcel of running a business, and make a list and prioritise that list to see what you're going to do first, what's going to make me the most money, what needs to be done, even if this means pushing the next job back. I often worry about letting people down. I want to build my business on being punctual and turning up on time. Like, this is why I get up nice and early and I turn up at 8:30. If I say I'm going to turn up at 8:30, I'll turn up at 8:30. I won't be 9 o'clock, won't be 9:30. I'll turn up at 8:30. I love to be punctual. That's like, I like to people treat me like that as well. If I say, you're going to pay me next week, then pay me next week. But sometimes you assume that it's going to be a massive big deal. I'm going to let this guy down. He's going to get someone else. He's going to fall out with me. Well, not necessarily. All you got to do is phone up that person and say, sorry, mate, but this job's ran over. Like, do you mind if I put it off for a day or maybe do it next week? And this has happened before. And over time, you get used to it. Like, if this happens and you are in a scenario where you actually need to push that job forward or later back, then you can, because customers say before, I forgot you were even coming. That's convenient because I was going out that day. Or sometimes you phone up, all right, mate, I'm on holiday. I was meant to come around and do that job. Customers sort of, they treat you the same as well. So how do you feel about stress? If you get affected by stress to the extent that you're worried about the money coming in or you're worried about letting a customer down, you've got to learn to work on that being your own boss. This is the natural things that come along with being your own boss. You do get worried about money and stress, but you've got to learn how to deal with it and how to not take your work home with you. Because if it affects you at work and you're a bit stressed, you're a bit on point, shouting and worrying about things, then you will take it home. And that'll affect your life at home, and you don't want that. I think you need to be able to separate your work and your family life. When you get home and you're with your kids and your family, switch that work off. Who cares? Deal with it the next day. And the way that I deal with this, I think is a fantastic way to deal with it, is to have a hobby, something else to concentrate on. Because I do think that I used to get stressed and worry about everything, the money, they're letting people down. And it just stressed me out so much that I jacked in being an electrician for 2 years. And then I went and took up a new hobby, something I did when I was younger, motocross. Because when you're on a motocross bike, all you want to do is hold on tight and concentrate and catching up with the rest of the lads. Well, I say catching up with the rest of the lads. There's normally one bloke behind me called Sam. He's going to hate me for saying that. And the thing is, you may think, yeah, I haven't got what it takes to be my own boss. I can't be dealing with all that stress. It's not my cup of tea. But you can teach an old dog new tricks. And I think it's a lot easier to become your own boss than it is for me now to go back and work for somebody else. But I have reached a point every now and again where you think, scrap this. I'm just going to go to that company. They'll give me a job. I'll work as an employed electrician, get paid a certain wage every week, and things will be easy. So yeah, I have thought that a few times, but at the minute, 20 years later, I've never actually done it. Because if I was employed by somebody, yeah, I couldn't just have a day off when I liked or when I wanted, just take the day off and do whatever I want. You've got to sort of ask for that day off. And I like that sort of freedom in effect where you can just, if you've got no work on or nothing booked in, or you plan it sometimes, like you get your week stretched out and you think, well, I've got that extra day just in case that job goes over. If it doesn't go over, happy days, you've got a day off. And then having that day off, you can even have a couple of weeks off sometimes, because I think being a self-employed electrician, you do earn good money. So you can have a bit of a savings. Always remember to save a bit of money on the back burner, just in case, tax bill and all that. So make sure you've got a bit of money, but because when your tax bill comes around, you think, nice one. I haven't got to spend all that money on the tax bill. So you've got a little bit of money there. Take a bit of time off. Chill out. Recharge. Because then you'll come back bigger and better with an attitude and a solution to stop you getting stressed like you did in the first place. So if you think you're ready to start up your own business as an electrician, check out the next podcast, How to Start Up on Your Own. It may just plant a seed in your head that will grow for you to become your own boss. Yes, it is a little bit of a risk starting up on your own, becoming your own boss, but you're alive once. What happens if you regret it, not trying it back in 10 years time or something like that? Give it a go. What have you got to lose? Let me know what you think. Until next time, I'll see you again.